folks. Welcome to an all-new recap of The Traitors. No, it's not The Traitors, folks. It is Survivor 50, and with us, as always, for Reality Competition Series, we have our co-host, the one, the only, Carsten Bergie, Bergersen. Bergie, how are you?
I am doing so glad to be back for Survivor. Like, I didn't know we would do other shows, but I'm super excited to try a new show out and see how we can recap it.
Yeah, so you listen, guys, be gentle with us. This is our first recap of a Survivor episode. Now, I want to let you know, the 3-hour premiere was last week. We are not doing the 3-hour premiere. Hopefully you are caught up. But just from out of the gate, there will be spoilers. But on the first episode, Jenna, who played on the first season of Survivor, she got voted out at Tribal Council. And the sad thing is, at the end of the 3-hour episode, Kyle, he had an Achilles injury. And that's where we're going to start this episode, is he is getting pulled from the game, which is so heartbreaking. I loved Kyle. I loved his season, the way he played with Camilla, and Camilla is in this season as well, even though they're on different tribes. It's just so heartbreaking. Just to let you guys know up top too, if there are any weird pauses in this or I have to stop, there is a fire that has broken out on the other side of the canyon that we live in. And so you might hear fire trucks, you might hear helicopters. We are safe. Rebecca's got an eye on it. And you know, this is exactly what you need in the final weeks of your pregnancy, is to worry about a fire in the hill. But everything is safe as of now, but it's just really windy conditions. So it's a horrible time to have a fire in the hills, but praying that everything is okay. But let's forget about that. Let's go to this Survivor Island. Bergie, what is your relationship with Survivor?
Oh, this is probably, I believe Survivor is the best competition show that has ever existed in reality TV. I really do believe that, from all the way back from season 1. I think it is one of the most fair reality TV shows, because like with Traitors, there's a lot of like, everything's out of your control. Like, you can get murdered any night when you're a faithful. Like, if you're a traitor, I feel like it's very balanced for the traitors, but if you're faithful, it's like you don't really have control over the game. But Survivor is one of those games where you have control over the people around you, and you can control kind of what happens more than you can in pretty much any other competition reality series, in my opinion. And I have been watching Survivor since I was born, pretty much. I was born in 99.
Yeah, dude, you were born in 99. Just get that.
Yes.
I watched on the first night of the first Survivor. There used to be a thing called VHS tapes, Bergie. This is before DVDs. And I used to tape it on my VHS machine. But you guys, you know, if you were around when Survivor season 1 happened, this was an out of the gate hit. And 77 million people watched the finale of Survivor. You can't get numbers like that. This was a monolith. This was before streaming. And now, you know, even though Survivor is still a huge show, it is nowhere near what it was in terms of audience viewership on that first season. But nothing is ever going to get those type of numbers again. But it is still such a magical game that I took like 10 seasons off, I think, and then I came back to it and I loved it, even though there is old era players and new era players. And Bergie, I was like, what do you think the difference is between old era and new era?
Well, I think new era is more formulaic from what I can see and what I see from the cast. Like, it's more like repeat. Like, there's always a lawyer that says they're not going to share their that they're a lawyer, and then you have like your grad student, and it's very like formulaic. And then I feel like just Survivor as a whole, from like 40 to 50, has been very formulaic, where before it was just, you didn't know what you were getting when you turned on the Survivor season.
Well, and also, you know, it started off as a game where it'd be 39 days out there on the island. Now that it's down to, I believe, 29 days. So they've cut like 10 days out of it. And new era players, they grew up on watching old era players play. And so they're always trying to make big moves. They're trying to like make their name in the game. And we have a character in this season, what's his name? The goofy kid, Rizzo. We have Rizzo. And Rizzo even says in this episode, like, listen, I'm not out there trying to catch firewood and stuff. I want to sleep on the beach. I want to sleep on the boat. And then I want to pull knife throat cutting moves and play Survivor. And it's a different mentality of people like Colby, who played in the second season of Survivor, or Q, who's a new era player, but they're there trying to make the camp life better for themselves. And then there's certain players that are like, no, Like Rick is there. He's there to backstab. He's there. It's like a different mentality on how they play this game. And I find already in the first 2 episodes, it's so entertaining to watch those two types of players go up against each other.
Yeah, I love that aspect of this season. Personally, I like the more old school, like, let's make
Me
camp life
too.
the best as possible,
Yeah,
and,
me
like,
too.
I like watching the older seasons too, they focused more on, like, camp life and how everybody was living,
Yes.
and I miss that a little bit because I feel like
Well, I
it's
love
all gameplay moves now.
Yeah, exactly. But man, I used to love when, well, we see like two of the tribes get fishing gear. I love watching people out in the ocean trying to spear fish because you're like, oh my God, you could literally feed themselves because otherwise you're just watching players starve. You're watching them
Mhm.
starve the entire game, which is exciting to a degree, but there is something magical to think that you could forage your own food and have a pretty decent meal if you go in the ocean and spear fish. And to me, I love seeing, like, back in the old day when they would make these elaborate tent setups to sleep. I mean, that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, and for me too, it almost inspires me to go out, like, camping almost, and, like, I wanna see, like, how much I could do while I'm camping, or can I go fishing and see, like,
Yeah.
could I do this while fishing? Like, even the first challenge with Ozzy, Q, and, Coach, when they were doing that first challenge and they had to tie things together to reach for the key, I was like, "I wanna go do that." Like, I wanna, like, see if I can
Yeah.
tie knots and, like, build this contraption to, like, reach for something, like, that's what I love
Well,
about
Bergie, it
Survivor.
inspired me to reach for another bag of potato chips while I was watching that. That inspired me. So, like, we are two. Wait, by the way, we're old. I'm old era. You're new era, baby. And that doesn't mean in terms of the game, but just age. But I had a challenge to you as we start this. So Bergie, you say this, and I think I would love to see you in this. And this is not an ad for CBS or Survivor, but at cbssurvivorcasting.com, you can fill out an application. Anybody listening or watching, you can fill out an application. Bergie, I challenge you to fill out a Survivor application.
I know, and Rob keeps talking about wanting to go on Survivor. I'm like, they're gonna get Rob before they get me.
Rob Roush.
So
Yeah, but
Rob
Bergie,
Roush.
why even think about that? You apply, don't even think about Rob Roush. He needs to make up for that Birkin bag he got Mora, even though we do know that was a product placement and he didn't have to pay for that.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I would love to see Rob Roush play this game, but at the same time, when you throw celebrities in there, I feel like that's another target on your back. Like, I get scared for Mike White, the creator of the White Lotus, even though he's hysterical and now he's ripped, he's got abs. I get scared for him because when it comes down to a vote, that guy doesn't need money. That's something against you, you know?
Mhm. And especially, like, for the previous winners, like, you already won your $1,000,000. Like, we saw that in the first season 7 All-Stars of Survivor, like, they were just targeting the winners, like, they've already won, should we let them win again? So it's a huge target on their back. But, yeah, I'm gonna throw in a casting application.
Throw it. Well, it's
I'm
not
gonna
going to
throw it in
hurt.
for
Just
everything.
Yes, throw it in.
Yep.
Well, and by the way, speaking of like people that are really well known in this game, we have Cirie playing, and Cirie also was one of the best trader seasons on season 1 of the American Traders. But Cirie's played like 7 iterations of Survivor or something, and she's amazing. But in the first 3-hour episode, she was targeted at first. If you're a big name player like Ozzy or Cirie or Coach or something, you have a little bit more of a target on your back just by how well and respected you are in this game.
Mhm. And watching Cirie, she is just killing it still. Like, it's already the 2nd episode, and the way she's controlling the environment, I'm like, "Holy crap, Cirie is, like,
It's
one of the
magical.
great." Yeah, it's so magical to watch. It's like,
And she does
I
it by
can
she does it by strategy, and she does it by her interpersonal gameplay, you guys, because she even says it in this episode. I will have conversations with people and I will throw information out and they will pick up on it and it will be their decision. So all I'm doing is talking, even though Savannah did pick up on that a little bit, knowing that she was trying to protect Ozzy, who is an ally. So that's the other thing you got to think about in this game is that a lot of these players have met each other through the years just by being associated with Survivor. So there is this weird unfair advantage because Cirie and Ozzy kind of knew each other already.
and there's also the aspect of, like, all these Survivor players have probably watched every season and maybe studied every player before they showed up, and they were prepared for every player that is probably there right now, and they're like, "How am I gonna combat this player that is here right now?"
And the other thing we have to think about is what I love about this, and you see it already in the first 2 episodes, is a lot of these players are battling age. They're not just battling the elements. They're battling their own mortality. You know, we have Coach. Coach is having like, you know, his muscles are cramping, and we see everybody a little older, a little pudgier, a little, you know, it's like they're not the same people that they were when Coach played last time. And I think that's such an interesting part of this game where your own age catches up with you and you're not able to participate in a way that you once were. So you have to adapt. You have to find a way to play a better social game.
I would love to see a future season have 3 tribes, like 50s, 40s, 30s, maybe 20s, like 4 tribes, and just see how they go against each other. Because there's nothing, as someone that's in my 20s, like I love watching people in their 50s play games like this. Like I love watching Coach, because my dad is 53 right now, and it's
So
just
he's
fun.
Coach's age. He's
Coach's age, and just seeing and there's also the aspect of like imagining my dad and I going spearfishing, you know, that aspect of the game. Like we could do that together at some point, even though like, you know, we're all getting older, but it's just fun to see old people still like kicking ass. I love it.
And I'm speaking from a man in his, at the end of my 20s. I'm still in my 20s as well. So I totally know. You know, it's so funny because you watch this game and you picture yourself in it. I watch this game never picturing myself in it. So I think it's, you know, so I love it. I get so wrapped up in it. And just because we're coming off the traders is we always talk about how the games are really hit or miss on the traders. They found a way with Survivor to make these games not only super challenging for the players, but really inviting for the audience to get involved in. So that's a hats off to the editing, the camera work. Like they really take you through these games where you get caught up in, and the pacing and the franticness, your heart is beating along with them. And it's never like that in the traders for me. And I was trying to think of why that is, because the games are kind of thought out, but at the same time, they're not putting the traders players through the insanely physical challenges that these are.
No, I agree with that. Like the challenges in themselves, I love watching Survivor challenges because it's like it's pushing people to their limits. Can they build this puzzle? Can they do this like physical thing and nominate the right person to do this physical thing? And I think the other thing about the immunity challenge, or just like the challenges themselves, there's a huge risk/reward for completing the challenge. Like if you don't complete the challenge, you're not getting fishing equipment or flint and steel to light some fire. Like you need that flint. So it's like you are putting everything you can, because it's like, how else are you going to eat for the next 3 days? Like the traders doesn't have that kind of pressure. It's like, oh, maybe I can get a shield. And sometimes there's missions without shields. So it's like, what's the strategy here? There's no real good strategy. And when you're fighting in a challenge for immunity, like you can save yourself from going home and having the risk of like tarnishing relationships. Like those challenges mean a lot more than just a trader's challenge.
We're here to talk about our friends over at Factor. Now, somewhere between the first warm weekend and realizing short season is getting close, eating well stops feeling optional. And Factor is how I stopped letting a busy schedule be my excuse, because they have fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs, ready in 2 minutes. No planning, no cooking. And just for us personally, I wish Rebecca was here for this. We are like a couple weeks away from having our first child, and we are going to be using Factor those first couple of months because we want good meals that we can actually prepare so easily so we can take care of this baby. And Factor seems perfect for that. There's quality functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. And these meals, they can fit into any of your goals, whether it be Rebecca and I or your goals. It makes healthier eating easy. You have calorie management. You can get more protein. You go on your website and there's everything. Like I just checked out their Chef's Choice weekly menu this week. You got a shredded chicken taco bowl with corn salsa and cilantro crema. You got pesto chicken and quinoa. You got a caramelized onion gourmet burger, a tangy southern chicken with red potatoes and cream corn. Are you kidding me? I'm going to eat all of those at like one sitting. There's 100 rotating weekly meals to keep things fresh and delicious through winter. And like I said, with options, you got high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, GLP-1 support, and ready to eat salads. Plus, they have the new Muscle Pro collections, and that supports strength and recovery. And that's perfect if you're getting back into your workout routine. I feel attacked right now because I do need to get back into my workout routine. Always fresh, never frozen, ready in about 2 minutes, no prep, no stress, so you can actually stick to your goals or that you can raise a baby. So head to factormeals.com/SoBad50 off and use code SoBad50 off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. The offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. So make healthier eating easy with Factor. I know I am. Oh, I didn't see you there. I just popped open my Olipop Classic Root Beer that I have been enjoying immensely. In fact, I've been enjoying all of their brands, including cream soda as well. I've been trying to break my habit of drinking like other traditional sodas, and Olipop is amazing. I'm proudly a member of the Olipop family now. This is a new kind of soda that combines the classic soda taste with the benefits of functional ingredient blend to support digestive health. I mean, when I drink this root beer, it really reminds me, my dad used to like pound root beer all the time as kids, and I would benefit from that as well. And this is just as amazing as what I remember. But on top of that, it promotes this kind of amazing digestive health as well. The 2 out of 3 Americans say they suffer from digestive issues, and 95% of Americans don't get the daily recommended amount of fiber. And Olipop is tackling both of these issues with a drink that tastes just like soda. So you can actually drink something that is good for you. That is a novel concept. It supports your digestive health. I mean, and you get the great taste of all of these amazing flavors. They got strawberry vanilla. They got classic grape. I've powered through like 36 of these in the last 3 weeks. Yeah, I'm fully addicted to Olipop. So you should be as well. And you can get a free can of Olipop right now to back up everything that I'm saying. Buy any 2 cans of Olipop in store, and we're going to pay you back for 1. It works on any flavor at any retailer. It's drinkolipop.com/SoBad. We're going to put that in the show notes as well. And Olipop is also sold online at drinkolipop.com. Plus, it's on Amazon and available in the soda aisle with the chilled beverages at thousands of retailers nationwide, including Walmart, Target, Costco, and Whole Foods. Olipop. Yeah, I mean, I will say, too, with the challenges, they are so intense that's where Kyle, who is being taken out of the game, he hurt himself. There was like a wall that was almost at like a 90-degree angle that you had to run up, and he ran back there and ran up, and he must have hit it weird, and his Achilles tendon, they think, got really effed up. But that's like what we're dealing with, is that like I would hurt myself immediately. My knee would give out. I mean, these are really hard challenges. Also, I want to say, in terms of like the Flint, one of the most exciting moments of the first 3-hour episode was Christian, who is one of my favorite in this season so far. He's really entertaining. He was just like messing around and go, let's try to create fire through our glasses, through our seeing glasses, and harness the sun. And they actually did it. They didn't have flint. They still don't have flint. And he was able to create fire through something that we read about as kids, is using your glasses as a magnifying glass. It was so exciting.
I loved it. I loved every single time. Like, awesome. It was awesome.
So Bergie, my question to you is, having watched the first 2 episodes, and you got to pay attention to who the edit is favoring right now, even though there's so many players, so you're only getting bits and pieces of people's stories. You'll get more as the season goes on. If you're watching this edit, who do you think they're favoring for a
Cirie,
possible win?
Yeah, Cirie for sure. I don't know if Cirie's going to win, but she's been such a favorite every time she's been on. Like her whole story of like getting off the couch, like they bring that up every season. So I think Cirie, maybe not favored to win, but she's going to get a lot of screen time before she leaves. Ozzy's getting a lot of screen time right now. Christian is getting a lot of
Christian's been
screen
a lot
time.
of, and Christian, by the way, a heartfelt screen time, because on the first episode, when he did that thing with his glasses, he had this emotional thing that's like, listen, nobody knows that I have a son. I have a new son, and he's going to watch this one day and be proud of his dad. You can't help but get choked up by that. That was like, so I think they're favoring Genevieve as well.
Genevieve, and then I also have Coach on there. I think it's just gonna be the rivalry between Coach and Ozzy. I hope they both make it to the merge and we get a huge showdown. Like that would be amazing.
In the first episode, they had this challenge, and Coach, Ozzy, and Q played you guys. And Ozzy, you had to do this like pole thing that you had to make, and you had to get this key off, and it was impossible. And Ozzy was doing all the heavy lifting, and it dropped to the ground, and then you had to pull it in. And even though Ozzy did that, Coach grabbed it from him, and he took the reward. And Ozzy did not think that was very honorable. And Coach is pissed because Mike White told Coach, I heard that Ozzy is not happy, and Coach has now been rubbed raw because Coach, if you know Coach, he's very honorable. He has this Buddhist mentality, and he's always like throwing out like inspirational catchphrases. And so it's hysterical that Ozzy and Coach are already back at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is episode 2. It is called Therapy Carousel. And like I said, Kyle got hurt. Jenna got voted out because Jenna was trying to come for Cirie. Coach and Ozzy, we just talked about, and Q, they had that challenge, which Coach won. And then Billy, we have something new introduced to the game. It's called the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. So Billie Eilish is a fan of Survivor, I guess, and they have included celebrities here and there, I guess, in this season, and one of them being Billie Eilish. There's an idol that's called a Boomerang Idol that if you can throw it to another player on another tribe. If they don't use it by the time they get voted out, it boomerangs back to you, right?
Yes. I like the concept of this idol just because it's like there's not too many idols right now that are in play, which is also really nice. Like we have some advantages, which I think are awesome, and we have one disadvantage with Q not having his vote. But I like
guys, Q lost his vote. Q lost his vote in that challenge with Coach and Ozzy.
Yes. And I do like the aspect of like there's not so many idols where we're gonna have a tribal council and like someone gets voted out because they don't have an idol. Like that happened to Cirie that one time. So I like the level playing field. Like I like kind of old school Survivor before there was even idols. That was something that the audience got to vote for. And I think this is a good compromise to like still having idols and being able to like make advantages out of nothing. You can target someone with the idol, or it can come back to you as well. I like that. And I also think it can only work for 50, because if you were on like season 51 and it was all new people, like you wouldn't know anybody. You wouldn't know who to give it to. So this is a perfect idol for 50 in my opinion.
But there's nothing, but it makes me laugh so much that it's Billie Eilish Boomerang. I kept saying Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol for the last couple of days because you're in an island, and all of a sudden it says Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. It's like, I was trying to think of like it's like the Bruno Mars Idol, or I just think it's so silly. And you've got to be so confused if you're one of the players. Like all of a sudden you see Billie Eilish's name. That's very weird. So that idol is out there. And it's day 4. We start the episode. Everyone is watching Kyle get taken out. And Genevieve in her talking head is tearing up. And she's like, this is a game where you trust no one, but Kyle felt like home. You are raw. You are vulnerable. You are scared, which is how Survivor makes you feel. And that's an important thing to remember, is that this is so entertaining for us to watch, but you put yourselves in the player's perspective, and they are all paranoid and alone. And you think you can trust alliances, but can you really trust alliances? But Kyle was this all-around great player. I loved his season so much. He was very positive, he was very athletic, and he was also very smart. So I was very bummed that Kyle is out of this game.
Kyle was my fantasy draft pick for Survivor. So seeing him go out first episode, I was like, dang it.
Oh, yeah,
I really wanted him to go far.
Bergie's in a Survivor 50 pool right now. So wait, who is your second to win?
Yeah, so I had Kyle for winning and I had Jenna for winning, and they both went out first episode. So that was like the worst luck to have.
Guys,
it was like,
hey guys,
we're
going to walk you through this season.
So I have no picks left, and it's over. So by the end of episode 1, my fantasy survivor was over. So now I just get to watch for enjoyment.
So Kyle gets voted out of there, and everybody is scrambling. Q's like, this cleared my mind. It made me start over. We had an alliance of 5, but we're now down a number. So it was like Coach, Stephanie, Genevieve, Colby, and Q. But remember, Q doesn't have a vote. So this opens it up where they've got to reach out to Rizzo. Q and Colby are talking to Rizzo, and Q admits to Rizzo that he lost his vote because he was keeping that secret from a couple of people so he could win the pot and the machete for his tribe. And Rizzo in a talking head, because he was super annoying, especially to Colby in that first episode, Rizzo says, I had to course correct. I think I was too hyper in the beginning, but I've slowly inched my way back on my tribe. His tribe is Batu, you guys. And Colby, I love Colby, how serious he is. He's like, I believe that we need you now more than ever, Rizzo. We need you now more than ever. And Rizzo's like, wow, I can turn this group's perceptions of me around that quickly. I think I have a long way to go in this. Or he's like, I think I'll be in this game for a very long time. Do you think Rizzo will be there for a long time?
Honestly, I think from what I'm understanding from the group dynamic, I feel like a lot of people don't like that he sits around a lot. And I feel like they might use him for Q's like first tribal council. And then after that, try to get rid of him. Or like maybe not try to get rid of him, but like I feel like he's one of the weakest links between Q and Kilby. Like if it was between Q or Rizzo, I'm picking Q over Rizzo.
Oh, yeah. But if they've replaced Kyle with him, they're not going to vote him off immediately, but he'll be the easy vote off when they have to.
Yeah, like he's good to keep around because it's like, okay, he's a buffer for us. Yeah. And then we can give him the boot. I don't think he's winning.
Okay, so this is day 5. Then we go over to Sela. That's the other tribe. We have 3 tribes, Sela, Vatu, and what was the third tribe?
I don't remember the...
we'll get there. So Christian is standing there over Joe, and Joe's like, you feeling good? And Christian's like, I'll let you know once I know. And he's just standing there like really weird. And it turns out, you guys, Christian shit his pants. Christian pooped his pants, you guys. And he's like, I've got to go. And they've blurred out the back of his khakis because he has had gastrointestinal distress. By the way, this is my fear, Bergie. I get out there. This is exactly what I would do. I would poop my pants.
Well, Fiji has terrible food, in my opinion. Sorry for the Fijians when I was out there. But like,
they're
even
not
in the
eating that food. They're eating the fish.
They are not. No, I know they're not. But even in Love Island, people were shitting their pants. I'm not even going to lie. Like, it's bad out there.
Where is that Love Island? If we got
they don't have it out there.
His pants.
Like, it was terrible out in season 5. Whatever food they were giving us, people were literally shitting their pants. Like, it happened. It happened on my season of Love Island. Like, it's terrible out there.
Oh my God.
I know we're not eating bugs, but either way, it was still bad.
Well, you got to imagine it really is the shock to your system. You're drinking like, water that's supposedly okay to drink, coconut water, whatever bugs or crap that you can find. And so your system is being attacked, which, by the way, I forgot to tell you, last Friday, I got to see Ariana Maddox, and we did talk about the island in Love Island and how close it is to the Survivor Island. And she said, yeah, like you really can sometimes hear things, or they could hear us. And she says when she and the crew would go into town to like eat or something, you would sometimes run into Survivor crew. And I just thought that's so funny, is that you have these 2 huge reality competition series on that same area.
No, when I was stuck in my hotel room on Love Island, I think there was people that just finished filming Survivor 44, I think, that were like helping me stay in my hotel. And I was like, no way you're like a challenge person on Survivor. Like, I'm like, how was that? So like they would get to do like the practice run of the challenge before the contestants would do it.
Oh, that'd be so.
So yeah, I got to talk to one of those people while I was out there on Love Island. I'm like, you have one of the coolest jobs.
Were they nice?
Oh, they were super nice.
Well, that's the thing, is you realize what a huge production Survivor is, you guys, because multiple times on this, remember, like they've had people testing out all these games. They also have people in the water, just like safety divers. If something happens to you in the water, we don't get to see them, but we do find a moment where they're like, oh yeah, there's like safety people in the water with us in case something happens. So it's like, there is this, like, even though we are watching these people getting beat by the elements, it is very safe. Like even to Kyle, there were doctors immediately when they thought Kyle was, and by the way, Kyle had been walking around camp after the injury and he thought he could deal with it, but they were watching the footage and they had medics come in like after the fact to pull Kyle out of the game.
Also, if I was there, I could do the physical therapy test exactly like the doctor did. He did the Thompson test when he squeezed his Achilles.
That's called the Thompson test?
That's called the Thompson test. And like, that's where you're supposed to see like the toes curl, if you remember. Yeah. And it wasn't. So I was like, oh, he's doing the Thompson test. I could have done that.
That's cool. I mean, see, you know this stuff. Yeah.
And when he was checking for fractures, I'm like, he's doing the Liz Frank test. He's having walk 4 steps. Like there's no fracture there. And so when he did the Thompson test, I'm like, that's a positive Thompson test. So his Achilles tendon is.
Wait. So Bad It's Good is sponsored by our friends over at Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know about you, but I like keeping my money where I can see it. And unfortunately, traditional big wireless carriers also seem to like keeping my money too. And they like keeping my dad's money. And that is why we switched him over to Mint Mobile. And it was so easy. He was even able to keep his same number. So stop overpaying for wireless just because that's how it's always been. Mint exists purely to fix that. Mint Mobile is here to rescue with premium wireless plans starting at just $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. So you can bring your own phone and number like we did with my dad. You can activate with eSIM in minutes and start saving immediately. No long-term contracts, no hassle. So ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. So if you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/sobad. That's mintmobile.com/sobad, even though it's so good. Upfront payments of $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent of $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and AMP fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. We are here to talk about our friends over at Hims. Now, are you tired of trying to figure out what actually works for hair loss? Through Hims, you can get access to clear solutions, expert guidance, and an online process that takes the confusion out of care. Hims offers convenient access to a range of prescription hair loss treatments with ingredients that work, including chews, oral medication, serums, and sprays. These are doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that can stop further hair loss and regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Because you shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hims brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. There are no hidden fees. There's no surprise costs, just real personalized care on your schedule. So think of Hims as your digital front door that gets you back to your old self with simple 100% online access to trusted treatments for real health concerns all in one place. For simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/sobad. That's hims.com/sobad for your free online visit. hims.com/sobad. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information. Individual results may vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride.
Fully screwed up.
Have they named all the tests? You just said the Liz Frank test and do they name all the tests?
No, they didn't name them, but I knew he was palpating the navicular bone and the 5th metatarsal while he was out there. And I'm just like
big
watching.
brain on Bergie.
I know. It's like that 90 or what is it going to be? It's like that $120,000 of student loan debt's going to pay off. So when I'm on Survivor, I could be like,
you go on Survivor, you can pay that off immediately.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Christian pooped his pants and he's like telling the camera, you don't want to see this. Just walk away. And then he's like, my wife's going to divorce me. And it's one of those funny Survivor moments. So then we cut to the challenge. Day 5, the challenge, all the boats come in. Like Sela, they see that Jenna was voted off. So you've got Kalu and Vatu. Camila is already emotional, even though she wasn't on the same tribe as Kyle. She sees Kyle was voted off. And just so you know, their season of Survivor, Camila and Kyle, like I said earlier, played this brilliant game together where no one knew that they were working together. And it was just amazing. So, by the way, go back and watch that season if you want to dip into a season. Ozzy says, "Yeah, man, the first challenge I did with the key on the pole, my back was spasming because they're just talking about like it is easy to get hurt in this game." And Jeff is like, "Coach, can you relate?" And Coach is like, "It was difficult. I wanted to get as far as I can with my dignity. I might blow my game up for discussing this, but I want to set the record straight. We fought hard for it. Ozzy said that if to Q that you can have it if you get it, and I didn't say that." And it was like, so Coach is already being really intense because he heard that Ozzy was angry. And Ozzy's like, "Yeah, man." No, he goes, Coach is like, "I'm going to play with the same as much integrity as possible, as always." And Ozzy's like, "Well, if I hadn't got the key off, I don't really think you would have gotten it. You are the same old Coach." And Coach says, "I'm playing the same game I've played for 101 episodes." And Ozzy's like, "Yep." He's saying he's playing the same exact way I've seen him play it. And so it's like this reputation tarnish, and you can tell it's eating Coach alive. And it's just one of those great relationship moments in this game.
This makes me want to go back and just watch every freaking season of Survivor. Like knowing that there's these relationships and just going back, and especially now that like Survivor players are going on traders and whatnot. I just want to know who everybody is in the history because there's so much history that I'm missing right now with Coach and Ozzy that I want to go back and watch it.
Which, by the way, I feel like this is an audition for the next season of Traders for people like Ozzy and Coach.
Absolutely. And I think the
or
people
even
that
Christian.
Even Christian and even Kyle, like I loved Kyle that first episode and I did not want him to go. And I think there's just like so many great players and like good people that get on reality TV and then you just never see them for years and years and years. And it's like I just want to see more people more often. Like I don't know why. Peacock start the trials or something. They get a new competition series going. Let's get more people back on.
I mean, I think, what's exciting for reality competition series, there seems to be a real hunger for it. I mean, they've always been out there and flourishing, but I think right now it's reaching this point where people are wanting more and more of this, and that's exciting. I mean, I hope to see even more of a renaissance than we already have. So the game, you guys, we can't really go through the entire game, but the game basically is you have to leap off a platform, smash a tile while you're leaping, and then you got to get a key and then make your way, a key in the water, you make your way to these balance beams that you have to walk over, and then you dive into the water, you swim to the finish, and then once you have all 3 keys, another player will dive down to retrieve 2 rings, and then the 3 remaining tribe members will use the keys to release 3 rings. Then it is a face-off. Then it's a race to land 3 rings on 3 targets, and the first 2 tribes to finish win reward. There's a massive camp improvement kit to win, which includes a hammock and a tarp, and the second place winner gets a smaller tarp. So, I mean, it's hard to picture, but it's like this kind of huge game, but it's a lot of swimming in the ocean, a lot of unlocking keys and throwing things on targets. Am I right?
You are right. And I just love watching these challenges for whatever reason. It gets that like sports mode going. Like I'm watching like NFL football and I'd rather watch Survivor challenges than NFL football. I know that sounds crazy, but for me, I love.
But see, this is where this is an established show because it really is in the camera work and the editing. And of course, the music. It's like dung, 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 dung. And like just the editing, it's just really, really good. It's stuff that as an audience, it's so well done that you don't even realize you're watching great editing because it's that fluid. And I think that is just, they know what they're doing and they've been in this same location now for a while. So they know all the camera setups and they know what works and they really take us through this. Now, I will say one of my favorite laughing moments with any of these is Jeff's monologue. He just has to keep talking of like, okay, get in the water. Oh, it's a tough race. It's super. Like he just has to keep saying, it's like when you watch the news and there's like a car chase, news people will have to like just keep talking throughout the whole car chase. Like Jeff is like that. Sometimes I wonder if I'd be playing and I'd be like, shut up, Jeff.
I mean, if you have never watched Survivor, you would have heard that's how you do it. I feel like that's his common
that's
catchphrase.
How you do it.
That's how you do it on Survivor. Like that is his go-to line. That's how you do it.
You gotta dig deep. You gotta dig deep. What do you have left in the tank?
Yeah. I feel like you're gonna hear that's how you do it at least once an episode.
Yeah. I will say Jonathan looks like Aquaman. This guy is like ripped. He's built. He's tall. He is just very dominant in these challenges. Rick Devens helped, like he wins the award for Sela because he's the one throwing the rings onto the target. And by the way, Rick Devens, so far, he has been a player that he loves to mess with people's minds, and he loves immunity idols, and he's used those to great effect in his Survivor playing years. Anyways, Coach wins second place for Kahlo. So Sela and Kahlo won, and Vatu gets nothing. And then they do the ceremonial swim out, which always looks like fun, where you have to dive and like swim back. But it always looks magical, right?
Mm-hmm. No, and I just love when they just jump off the dock at the end, and it's just like they all do like their little dive or like cannonball.
Also, we end before commercial where Coach in a talking head goes, "Yesterday's adversary is tomorrow's enemy. Today's enemy is tomorrow's adversary." He's just so intense about everything.
Yeah, that one messed with my head a little bit. I had to really think about that quote.
I know.
And I was just
what did it mean to you? What did it mean to you?
I'm like, okay, that's like the same thing. Like that doesn't change who the target is.
Well, it's like yesterday's adversary is like somebody that you're going up against, but then you can make it personal and it becomes an enemy instead of just an adversary.
Gotcha. Yeah, that went over my head. Well,
that's how I took it.
Yeah, it went over my head.
Well, it should go over your head. This guy speaks in riddles half the time. Okay, so we're back at camp with Vatu, and Aubrey is passing around a sour coconut that she says tastes like sherbet. This thing is disgusting because this seems like a bad coconut, and they're drinking it like it's a treat. This is a bad if it's a sour coconut, it's bad, right?
I've never had a coconut, so I would love to try it.
You've never had coconut water?
I don't think I have. Like in the bottle?
I don't think
I need to try it because I should definitely try. I've had coconut oil. I know that's definitely not the same thing, but I've had coconut oil, not coconut water. I need to try it.
But they're saying this tastes like dessert, even though Q and Colby hate it. But Aubrey is sitting there, and Aubrey's like, "I'm sitting in the middle of a bunch of lunatics. I can't, it's like you have to like size people up. It's like solving a Rubik's Cube." And Aubrey in a talking head says, "Survivor is exhausting. I love the game, but it's hard because you have to like kind of maneuver your energy. You have to like reserve your energy. And when I played in Cal Wrong, which was her season, I didn't do that well. And I crashed out. And this time I learned I've got to learn not to lose it because Survivor changes on a dime." And Genevieve in a talking head who's on her tribe says, "There's something seems so strange about Aubrey. She's being so precious about her backpack." And Genevieve, last episode, she found a Billie Eilish boomerang idol. So she knows that there are idols out there. And she's like, maybe other people have gotten one without me. And like we've got to see if Aubrey has been given a Billie Eilish boomerang idol because I'm convinced she has one in her bag right now. I thought this was very astute of Genevieve.
Yeah, no, I thought it was like, holy crap, they're actually going to go through her bag. Like, even for me, it feels like almost a dirty move, but at the same time, like, you got to protect your ass and go through that backpack. And I liked how she
Lord
recruited.
Of the Rings.
Yeah, and I loved how she recruited. Was it Kobe? Was it also Rizzo or Q?
She had Colby, Q, Stephanie. Like Stephanie took Aubrey aside and sat with Aubrey on the beach and talked to her. And then Q was the lookout. Like if for some reason Aubrey started walking towards him, he was going to scream out. And then Colby and Stephanie went through Colby and Genevieve went through her actual bag. But it really was like horrible. It's just like watching them go through the bag, and Genevieve's like, I'm so sorry, but I got to do this. And it was like scavengers.
No, yeah, and I love that aspect of Survivor, but it also is like, it feels dirty to watch, but I'm also like enjoying it at the same time.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just one of those like satisfying things. Yeah.
But they find nothing in Aubrey's bag. They find nothing. We go over to the Kahlo tribe, and Jonathan, the Aquaman guy, is in the water with a spear getting fish. And he's like, these people think I'm the most loyal person, and I don't think that much, but I'm like a duck on top of the water. My feet are kicking. And Coach goes out with him to fish. And this is where we see Coach just laying there on his back, groaning, like, And a medic boat pulls up, and safety swimmers are all around him. And they pull him back on the boat and bring him to land. land. But this is where we find out, yeah, there's always safety swimmers in the water with these people when you see them out there in the water. He had a massive cramp in both legs. He's hobbling on the beach, and Mike White walks by him, and Mike is laughing. He's like, this guy goes out to show he has the stuff still, and he has to be rescued. And Mike, by the way, did you catch the moment where Mike smiles at the cameras like on The Office?
No, yeah, I love every time that happens a couple times this episode, and I just love it when it happens.
Yeah, it's like the perfect Jim Halpert moments from The Office. And Coach says, I'm 53 years old. I'm full of holes. And then Chrissy, another one of the players, is massaging Coach's legs. And Dee, who is on their tribe as well, and a talking head, who is one survivor before, says, listen, Coach is old and he's kind of dismantled, and Christy is trying too hard to be a mother to this tribe. She can be too much. And then Charlie, who is on this tribe, says, Charlie's like, well, I'm being told by Chrissy to do things. And he goes, listen, I love an alliance with an older woman. That's my bread and butter. Other people are getting miffed at Christy, but, about some of the stuff she's doing. But Charlie says, sometimes you can go with the flow and the motion with the ocean, and that could take me away from Chrissy if the motion from the ocean, the other tribe members don't like Chrissy. So it's one of those weird things. What did you think?
I thought that was a good explanation by Charlie, because he did play, kind of with that mother figure in his season. So for him to be like, okay, I need to start distancing myself with Chrissy, and like Dee, we had that master interview with Dee talking about Chrissy. Like, it does seem like she would be like the first one to go on the tribe, or she would be a buffer person to get a strategic person out on the tribe first and then go for her.
And you always got to pay attention to these edits, you guys, because you're like, okay, they're letting us know that Chrissy is annoying. So When are they going to use that? When is it going to come back up in the game? Because it's going to come back up if they introduced her being annoying. It's going to be a storyline at some point, even if it's not for the rest of this episode.
Yeah, and it's definitely, it's also telling us that Chrissy isn't going to win this season of Survivor. Like, there's no way she can overcome the edit that was just placed on her.
Yeah, sorry if you're listening, Chrissy. So now we're with the Sela tribe, day 5, and Rick is talking with Savannah, and and it's like he's asking her once again, because Savannah discovered on the first episode she has a secret block a vote. She won a secret block a vote where she can block somebody's vote. And they asked her when she came back, did you get anything? And she said no, but everybody's very suspicious of Savannah. So Rick is asking her once again, do you have an advantage? And Savannah's letting us know, I still have not told anybody about my block a vote. I don't trust these people. My game was very loyal last time. I haven't found my people yet. And Ozzy walks into this conversation, and Ozzy says, hey, maybe it can be like me, you, Rick, Joe. We could run this game. And Savannah's like, yeah. So they're trying to get Savannah in on some sort of alliance. And Rick says, it's crazy. Ozzy is trying to pitch an alliance with me, but I already have one with Emily and Christian. It would probably be Ozzy on the chopping block if we have to go to tribal. But if we voted Joe, my game would be freed up because he's honorable and I have to work around his principles, because Joe, he's like this guy. He's not exactly Coach, but he's really intense and he's really like honorable and don't cross him. And I love that Rick is saying that doesn't do well for my game. I want to be able to backstab. I don't want to trust. I want to be free to cut throats out here.
Yeah, and I think he has to play around Joe's game. If he's almost playing Joe's game if he keeps Joe around. Like, in order for Rick to play his game, he has to cut ties with Joe.
Well, because Rick is basically saying, I don't play a clean game. I've never played a clean game. That's not the way I like to play Survivor. So it's like just an example of showing all the different ways you play this. Anyways, Joe sees Rick whisper to Savannah, and Joe said, oh, that's concerning. And Rick says, Joe confronts Rick and is like, hey, what did you whisper to Savannah? And Rick was like, oh, she was just saying, like, are you going to talk strategy with Joe? And Joe's like, well, that's weird. Well, I think, like she wanted to be part of it. Joe in a talking head's like, it took Rick by surprise that I asked. He had an awkward response. And Joe's like, I get the vibe. Rick says, I get the vibe she likes you and is looking to us to like join up. Rick in a talking head says, Joe is so frustrating. It's like you give each other grace when you play this game. It's like, I want to play the way I want to play. It's like, this is crazy. I don't want to play by Joe's rules. But Joe is already very paranoid when he sees this whisper.
Not only is Joe paranoid, he is having the correct reads though. Like he is
Yeah.
he's not being thrown under the bus, and he is also like he is on the bottom. So I think he's having the correct reads. He was also pinpointing out Rick that he was like lying to him in that moment. Rick had like one of the worst lying responses of all time. He was like slow. He didn't have like a good response right away.
It's what we talked
So
about
for
with
Joe,
we talked about with Rinna in the Traders, how she didn't have a good
yeah,
response ever.
yeah, and I think Rick is not a good. He would make a terrible trader. He would not be able to lie right off the bat and like have something ready to go. He had to think about it, and then he's like, "Oh shoot, I don't want to say the wrong thing." So it just told Joe like Rick is lying to me right now, and I can't trust Rick.
You have all of these different people now at camp. Like you had Christian, Cirie, and Rick. And, you know, Rick's like, well, what if we just vote Joe out? And Christian and the talking heads like, you got to be careful how you handle Joe. You got to have like maybe a Joe rotation where each one of this players handles Joe. And he calls it a Joe-tation instead of a rotation. And you know, Christian's like, yo, this could go sideways if we screw over Joe. And Christian's like, we're not going to be able to convince Joe to become Johnny Fairplay on this game. He has set his boundaries, and, you know, you got to be okay with that. Now, Johnny Fairplay is an iconic Survivor player that played dirty. He's the one that lied about his grandma dying just so he could win reward in a brilliant Survivor move.
Mm-hmm. And he was on House of Villains season 1. Johnny Fairplay is really entertaining, and I know I've seen interviews and stuff, or not interviews, but like online discourse about how much Jeff does not like Johnny Fairplay, but that's the reason he had him on the seasons, because Johnny, what was it? One of the producers asked Jeff, if you don't like Johnny Fairplay, think about the other Survivor contestants and like how that's going to make TV. Yeah. So that's why they had him
on. Christian's in the jungle talking to the camera. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen with this Joe and Rick tension. And all of a sudden, he finds a clue in a tree and he starts hyperventilating. And he reads it and he's like, hey, it's Billie Eilish. This is the Billie Eilish boomerang idol. And he's like, oh my God, thank you, Billie. Good thinking, Billie. He goes, there's some risk and reward. I can't keep it I got to keep it in my pocket. Lots of possibilities. I could give it to someone else to help me in the long run, but it has to be someone I trust, or someone thinking that they can trust me. It could also be a way to mark them so it boomerangs back to me, who is most likely to keep it to themselves and see it as a sign that I want to work with them. And then we go over to the Vatu tribe, and Aubrey, who we dealt with earlier, she's like, I'm going through my bag and I find a package and I sneak out of camp and we see her opening it and she cries. And it's like, somebody has gifted you this idol, and you can only use it it can be used up to the point where only 5 players are left. And she goes, someone gave me this. Maybe this is the momentum I need right now. It's a sign that this Survivor season can go different. Hell yeah. This game feels amazing to have a mysterious person helping me. This could be the ally I need. And then they cut back to Christian saying, Godspeed, Aubrey Bracco. Safe travels. And he salutes. It was so sweet, that moment.
I thought that was a spectacular moment. But I was also thinking, too, at the same time, could you imagine if Aubrey was gone and they put the idol in her bag and then they went through it before she even saw the idol?
I know. Well,
could you imagine?
I was so confused of so why was she holding her bag close to her and being precious with her bag? Whereas so was the idol not there yet? Because in terms of the edit, this is when she found the idol, which is after they went through her bag. So I was like, or did she have it on her person then? Like, I was confused about the edit a little bit.
Yeah, I was confused a little bit about the edit too. And I just imagining like, what happens if like they did put it in her bag and then they went through it
yeah,
what do you do?
You vote her out immediately, right?
But like she didn't even know she had the idol.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was like,
I don't know.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, I think if they found it, I think they would also find the parchment paper and read it.
Yeah, and I think too, like production was probably super safe when they put that, and they probably like, hey, go check your bag real quick or whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, it's Vatu day 6. Q and his tribe over on Vatu, they're like trying to do things around the camp, and Q's like, Rizzo is lazy. And Rizzo in a talking head's like, my first season, I didn't do anything but sleep at camp and sleep on the boat. I came out here to play Survivor. I came to cut some throats and win some money. And Q says, Rizzo, just go back and like help start a fire. And Q in a talking head's like, I'm thinking everyone is back at camp, like gathering firewood. I come back to camp and they're talking. And Colby's like, come on, guys, we got to gather firewood. Come on, Rizzo, you got to help. And come on, hustle, brother. Get that wood. And Q is just like, half the people on our camp are lazy. Angelina, who's also a player on their tribe, Angelina is like a statue, he says. She just stand there and look. And that could be the difference between going or staying, which is so important. Like, if your tribe is like work with the tribe. You don't want to put a target on your back, right?
Yeah, no. And I like to see like survivor tribes, and I don't want to call it homes, but like their setup evolve over the course of the season. Like, I love seeing like what people do while they're out there. Like, that's, for me, that's almost more fun than the actual strategy part for someone that I like. That's how I like to watch Survivor. And I understand there's a whole game like that. Rizzo just wants to play the game. But I like the Survivor of going outdoors and having like the best tribe possible.
He's playing new era. Like, he's playing more new era. And like, he's playing just like, I just want to use my mind and I just want to backstab people and I don't want to do the work that it takes to actually live life out here in any kind of fashion that I'm used to.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of affected by like the 26 days instead of the 39 days. Because it's like, for 26 days.
26. I was saying 29 earlier. 26.
Yeah, because it used to be 39 days. And like, I feel like with 39 days, you had to find a way to live out there. Like 26 days, like your body, like, you know, like you could be on day 10 and you're like, okay, I'm already halfway done. Like, I just got to go another like 15 days. Like, that's not like a long time compared to 39 days. And for me, like, I would love to watch 90 Day Survivor if I could. Like, I would sign up for Survivor, as crazy as that sounds, but I would love to
make them out there for a year.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're to our immunity challenge, you guys. He has to take back the idols. Immunity is back up for grabs. And this is, you got to race out into the jungle and you got to retrieve a survivor snake. And then you got to make your way through with the snake through a series of obstacles. And once you have all three snakes, 3 tribes or 3 players from your tribe has to do this wire thing where you're maneuvering a ball around this like puzzle thing, and it's really hard to do. And the losers have to go to tribal council, and it'll be the third person voted out, and he will have to keep your flint. And survivors ready, Jeff says, and then they sprint into the jungle, and you have to untie these snakes. They said this snake weighs 200 pounds. I was like, there's no way.
I can believe that. I like
200
and then
pounds?
like you have like 2 or 3 people carrying it.
It was only 2 people. Only 2 people could carry it.
People carrying it. That's right. Yeah, that's 100 pounds each. I feel like that's very fair and like able to do it.
I don't know. 200
Don't get me
pounds,
wrong. It's still heavy as hell.
weight.
I believe it though. I believe those snakes are 200 pounds and I believe they're carrying it, but it's a lot of weight and it's heavy. I guarantee that.
And they were having to go in under sand. They were having to go in like through ropes and all of it. I mean, it was crazy. Anyway, so they're going through this whole challenge, and so we're going through the challenge. Everybody's like working hard. It's pretty even when they get to the table, you guys. And at the table, it's like dead even, Jeff says. You have the winding snake trap, 3 people maneuvering the wires. And Jeff's like, this is where it's all about communication. You got to pull. You got to not pull. But Vatu is in the lead. Kahlo drops their ball through one of the holes. Who says, like, coach, get your head in the game. Somebody like snaps at coach, which I thought was funny. I forgot who it was.
Was it Charlie? Was it Charlie?
It was a girl. It was a girl that snapped at coach, and I thought that was funny.
Oh my gosh.
But Vatu ends up winning immunity, you guys. Vatu wins immunity, and then Kahlo wins second place. So Sela is third. They're going to tribal once again. So this will be their second tribal in 2 episodes, and the third person will be voted out. And Ozzy lets us know in a talking head, or reminds us that he has an idol, but he thinks he can get away without using it at tribal, but it's going to be in his crotch if he needs to use it, because he will not be the third person going home on season 50, right? So it's Sela day 6, and we're back at camp, and we're scrambling, right? And Rick says, the first tribal council, it was pretty easy. We were all going for Jenna, but now there's so many options. It's Ozzy, Savannah, or Joe, and it's pretty obvious that me and Joe are not in a terrific place right now. And Aubrey tells Cirie or is it Aubrey? No, I think I got that name wrong. It's
No.
so okay. It tells Cirie that we should go Ozzy. Cirie in a talking head goes, no, we can't go Ozzy. That's my guy. And so Cirie is like, let's walk through the pros and cons. The pros for Ozzy is that his social game sucks. And then there's Joe. He's the powerhouse, but that's not helping us in challenges at all. We are losing. And Savannah, I don't want whatever she came back to come back to haunt us because she lied to them about getting some sort of advantage and they kind of know it, right?
Yep. And great gameplay by Cirie by throwing out Ozzy's social game sucks, because as we're watching it, we're also seeing that in the edit that is being presented with us, that Ozzy does not have a good strong social game at all, and he even states that he does not have a good strong social game.
Well, and that moment's about to come up when Ozzy realizes watching Cirie how bad his social game is.
Yeah, and honestly, looking around, I would say Cirie and Ozzy are this strong pair in that tribe that you probably want to get rid of them sooner than later, because you keep working with them, they're going to be the last two standing eventually.
Yeah. So we see Cirie going through the tribe, talking to Rick, talking to Christian, presenting the same options that she just did. And then Cirie and Ozzy meet up, and Cirie's honest, saying, hey, they were talking about you, Ozzy, but I said, let's go over the pros and cons. Ozzy in a talking head, like we just said, is that Cirie is magic at strategy. It shows how average I am. And it's this is why I need her. It's I really want her to trust me, and I want to go through this game with her. And then Ozzy out of nowhere says, I'm going to give you my extra vote. I'm going to give you my advantage. Did you think this was dumb of Ozzy, or do you think this was necessary?
I don't think it was necessary, but I think him and Cirie are going to go far together after seeing everything that Cirie has done. I think Ozzy and Cirie are going to they're going to make the merge for sure. And I wonder how, could they be Final Four? I think they both could potentially be Final Four as well. I think they're going to go far together.
Interesting, if you watch the trailer for next week, they already switch up tribes.
That's true. But they
already switch up buffs.
But Ozzy still got his idol to use, and now Cirie has an advantage to use. So I still think they're going to make merge no matter what, especially after seeing this relationship form. I think we got to see them reunite and how they handle the merge when they get back together.
This could help them in the long run. Cirie in a talking head says, I can't believe Ozzy is giving me the extra vote. I played 5 seasons and I've never had an advantage. This couldn't have worked out better for me, Cirie says. And remember, on the first episode, Cirie was close to getting voted out. They were about to get Cirie out, and then they went with Jenna, because that's what Jenna was so hopped up on trying to get Cirie out that it made Jenna look bad. Anyways, Joe pulls Savannah, right? Joe pulls Savannah, and it says, hey, Rick and Ozzy were talking about a possible four-way, team, you, me, Ozzy, and Rick. And I was like, do you want to tell Joe? Oh, I don't know if now is the right. Oh, yeah. So basically, Joe is questioning Savannah about what Rick said, of is this true, what he said? And Joe's like, it just appears weird as hell what Rick did. And Joe in a talking head goes, listen, I have some PTSD from my season with Kyle and Camilla from being lied to. And that's what I was saying. Kyle and Camilla lie. I mean, they were so good at lying to Joe and the rest of their team. And Rick to Joe says, you were trying to catch me on something, And Joe's like, well, I was hoping for the trust, which I didn't get. Why didn't you tell me about the alliance? I was in the alliance, supposedly. And Rick's like, I didn't think I would be the one to approach you about it. I froze. And Joe's like, it still doesn't make sense if it was just an alliance talk. Joe in a talking head says, I'm over this. Rick says, I'm over Joe. We are allowed to lie and backstab. And it's like going out on a football field and saying, I'm a pacifist. Joe says, I've never played with someone like you before, Joe. It's this dude is so magnetic. Joe is like, trust is the one thing you have in this game. And Rick is like, dude. And Joe's like, I'm just reiterating. I'm just telling you what you're saying. I'm just trying to build trust. Joe in a talking head says, Rick has emotional reactions. It's like, how do we want to vote for the team? I mean, I'm gonna bite, do I have to bite my tongue? So it's this kind of emotional discussion about gameplay between these two men. And Rick ends up kind of storming off.
Mm-hmm. No, and I see where both of them are coming from, but I kind of lean towards like Rick's kind of gameplay more than Joe's. Like I'm like you got to have a little bit of like being able to lie and like deceive a little bit, but I also
Yeah,
understand
but
where Joe's coming from.
sometimes, I mean, if you could split the difference between these players, because Rick is actively looking to backstab and cheat.
Yeah, and we're on like they're on two polar opposites. We're dealing with like the most faithful, the faithful, and the traitor. Like
Yeah.
which is the way to play, and it's just like they're on two polar opposites, and it's like I love the people that can meet in the middle there. Those are my favorite Survivor players.
But these kind of polar opposite personalities are why this game is so fun to watch, because you're dealing with people's ethics and morals. But at the same time, it's a game, just like with the traders, with like people being upset at Rob Roush for playing a certain way. It's like, it's called the traders. It's like you're always going to have people upset that like there wasn't some magical rules that you didn't, you played by. And here we're saying like Joe wants to play by these rules. And Rick is like, the rules never existed in the first place,
Mhm.
but it's hard because if you are somebody that wants rules and structure, it's really hard to like think about somebody that's going to throw all of that away to try to because they're going to backstab you one day. So Rick, you really can't trust. You can't be in an alliance with Rick in a real way.
No, absolutely not. And it's like what matters more at the end of the day is do you make it to the next tribal council more than
Yeah.
just with your moral and ethics. It's more about can I just make it another day in Survivor.
Anyways, we go now. Joe is laying in the hammock, and this was my favorite shot. Christian is like hiding, speaking to Joe through the hammock. You can just see it's like a bag of navel oranges trying to like get their way out of those kind of bags, and he's just like, hey, I don't want to say in camp who I'm going to vote for tonight. Like it might be a conflict of interest for you. And Christian in the Talking Head says like, listen, he's getting in the way of everything. He might vote Rick tonight. Joe might vote Rick. And he whispers to Joe, I don't know what the relationship is like with you and Savannah, so I don't want to say. And Christian in the Talking Head says, my role in this tribe is like, I'm doing therapy carousel right now, which is the title of this episode, And Joe's like, if I have a question, I'll be like, what happened here? And Christian, by the way, the whole time is swinging Joe in the hammock. He's like swinging Joe. It's so funny. Rick to Ozzy and Cirie says, I'm overwhelmed. Like it's like blown up so big because Joe thinks I broke his trust. And Cirie goes, oh, you lied on Survivor. Wow. Cirie in the Talking Head says, I think Joe could very easily be an adversary. And I can't have that kind of person that's like clutching my pearls. Like, he did what? Lied on Survivor? This is what we need to knock the target clean off Ozzy's back. So Cirie sees this as another opportunity. That's why you got to be fluid with your game going, wow, the motion of the ocean is going Joe. Now we're not talking about Ozzy anymore at all. So it's perfect.
No, yeah, I worked in Ozzy and Cirie's favor big time. I'm honestly like I know this is coming up, but I'm so shocked they went back to Savannah at some point. I thought for sure Joe was going out this episode with everything that was going on in camp.
It's such a tricky edit. So Cirie is talking to Savannah and Emily saying, I'm okay. I'm going to go with Joe. And Emily in a Talking Head says, all of a sudden to protect Rick, we're going to go for Joe. And Cirie's like, yeah, this all blew up over nothing. And Savannah says, I think Cirie wants to protect Ozzy because they're working together. It's like she's very crafty. So Savannah is the one person on the tribe that recognizes what Cirie is doing and Cirie's game. And Savannah tells Rick and Emily this. And Emily in the Talking Head says, you have to be very conscious how people operate. I think Ozzy and Cirie might have had an alliance from the beginning of this game. So Emily's like, my honest preference is still Ozzy, she tells Christian. Emily in the Talking Head says, this is what happens. Getting closer to tribal. The panic sets in. Joe is over here just sinking his own ship. I'm trying to map out all the possibilities. Tribal's going to be incredibly chaotic. Anybody could go home. And Christian says to Rick, do you think she has an idol? I don't think she has an idol because I have the Billie Eilish boomerang idol. I gave it to Aubrey. Thanks, Billie Eilish. So Christian reveals to Rick that he got this idol. And Rick is like, in a Talking Head, he goes, idols are my thing. So many of my moments are like real and fake idols that I've used. And then Rick quickly says, do you still have the wrapping of the idol? I want to hide a fake idol at Tribal and go up and get it and act like we have a clue at one of the tribals. I'm going to do it when we leave. So was this smart gameplay for Rick?
Yeah, I'm sure he brainstormed this too in the off season. Like he didn't go to Survivor and come up with this on the spot. I'm sure he thought about this like years ago, and he's like, I finally get to try this thing that I've always wanted to try. Because that one scene where like there was that on the podium where Jeff stands, and like that one player was trying to get the fake. It wasn't even an immunity idol, but he was trying to. Like that's such an iconic scene. Like even if you don't watch Survivor, you've probably seen it before. Like I have not seen that Survivor season, but I know about that, and like that's what Rick was referencing to.
Yeah.
So I think planning that there would be hilarious, just because people would have like a slight expectation that could happen because it happened in the past, that there would be an idol or something at Tribal Council. So for Rick to go up and like, oh, look what I found, and like just try to play it real quick, or hold on to it.
But he's got to set that up tonight. He's got to leave it behind. He can't do it tonight. He's got to set it up for future to do it, right? And so Rick's like, I'm going to, whatever I can to blow this game up. And they say, this is Ocean's season, like Ocean's 11, Ocean's season 50, and we're putting a heist together. So everybody goes to Tribal, and Jeff's like, all right, so Joe, it's only day 6, your second Tribal Council, but the intensity is in a different spot than the first time. And Joe's like, I want to lead this. Unfortunately, Rick and I got into an argument, and I take ownership for some of the intensity that might be affecting the mood. And Rick says it's everywhere. What led to the conflict? He goes, we are so alike, me and Joe, in physicality and stubbornness, which they're totally different physical types. So this is an obvious joke, which was very funny. I love that. Jeff says, do you worry that arguments could be, that people don't want arguments and worry? And Joe's like, yeah, but we're in a stressful environment. I own it, and I'm going to try to move on. And then Jeff says, Cirie, what do you do when you don't know each other yet in this game? And Cirie says, with this type of player and a speedy game, all you can do is listen to your gut and trust this person and don't trust that person. And the puzzle, it's like she's just saying, listen to your gut. And Jeff says, Ozzy, you've been blindsided listening to your gut. Your gut isn't always right. And Ozzy says, the hardest thing is sifting through all the information and dealings burning through your head each day. For example, today on the challenge, I raised my voice and I made people nervous, and that creates anxiety. And you hope you can fight one more day to see it. So yeah, everybody's paranoid, right?
Absolutely. I feel like anytime you're going to the Tribal Council, you have no idea if you're going to get voted out or not. Like you could think like you have a plan and it's just going to completely backfire, or you're part of a plan and you are the plan.
Or we've seen so many blindsides where people have not even realized for a moment. They didn't even know to be worried about a blindside. They were paranoid about something completely different.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the shocker for me too is like Joe voted for Savannah and didn't even question it. He was like, "Yep, I'm okay with this."
Jeff says Savannah noticed different types of gameplay, and Savannah's like, yeah, you only have a small fraction of people's gameplay. I didn't think I would connect the way I'm connecting. It's like you have to be vulnerable. I had a wall up. I was scared to let people know the real me. I don't want to be rejected. But Survivor breaks you down, and I feel like I have imposter syndrome. You want to be tough but sociable and likable, but you put up a wall, and she's crying now, and that's what I'm doing in season 15. Jeff says, Christian, from a certain standpoint, Savannah, Joe, Ozzy, do any of these matter, or is it something else? And Christian says solidarity, cohesiveness with the team. It's like good to go for whatever comes our way. The more uncertainty, the more you seek safety. And now it's time to vote. And then Jeff tallies the vote, and we get the it's such intense music, right?
I love the Survivor music. Like Traders has a good atmospheric, like with the going to the roundtable song, but I feel like Survivor has like just a jungle atmosphere when I'm watching it. I love that.
Survivor copied Traders, like follow me down into the dead of the island where all the coconuts bloom. Like it would be great. Anyway, Savannah doesn't play her advantage. So we know Savannah's not playing. And the first vote is Savannah. The second vote is for Ozzy. And then the rest are for Savannah. Savannah is the third person voted out. Fire is life. And now we've got to extinguish. Bring me your torch. And she tells everybody, thank you guys and good luck. And she's crying. She says, this is the best experience. Thank you so much. The tribe has spoken. Time for you to go. And this is when Rick pulls the fake idol out of his backpack and Christian throws distraction. Christian, on walking out, falls down. So everybody has to go, Christian, you all right? And this is when Rick hides the little idol, right? The fake idol.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear what Christian said right after that too?
He said, what did he say? Never.
He said, I meant to do that when he was getting back up. He said, I meant to do that when he fell. He said, I meant to do that as he was getting back up. And I was like, that. So Taylor watched that episode with me and she was laughing her head off. Like she was on TikTok most of the time we were watching the second episode of Survivor, but she was studying geography.
Wait, Taylor's there? Why didn't Taylor join us? Are you kidding me?
She didn't watch Survivor.
Taylor, we got to talk Summerhouse. Are you aware of what's going on between Amanda and Wes?
Hold up. Let me get my...
Yeah.
Ryan wants to talk Summer.
Oh, shit.
Wait, real quick, guys. Wait, Taylor. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you see the rumor about Amanda Batula and Wes Wilson?
Yeah, I did. What's going on there?
We're trying to figure it out. I'm deep in investigative work this weekend, and people are saying that they were caught making out in the West Village in New York, and that's why Cirie is like upset at Amanda right now. Dumois posted about it a couple days ago, and I was like, "This is BS. It's not happening." And Dumois personally reached out to me and was like, "It's definitely true. It's definitely."
Oh my God!
I thought Wes was like trying to get with Cirie this season, though.
On the season, but the season wrapped filming like in September or like August. So now, I mean, we're a long ways away from that. But I just saw I saw West and Kyle at Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago when I was there, and we were all on this boat for Bravo, and they seemed fine with each other. And I don't know, you guys, but it's
I know,
insane.
I saw that happen, but I thought that was just clickbait, but I didn't know if that was like actually true.
Well, I'm still going to believe it's not true because I can't, but everybody is saying, I don't know. So I just wanted to know if you were aware, because this is very...
Yeah, no, I saw that, but I literally was like, there's no way. I still feel like he's trying to get with Cirie, but then again...
Well, on the show he is, on the current
on this
show.
current season, yes, he is definitely trying to get with Cirie, but so is Jesse too. I mean, like...
Well, you got to come on to talk. You got to come on to talk Summerhouse, so we can.
Oh, I know.
We have to talk. Yeah. Anyways,
I
is Bergie?
had it on. I literally had it on last night. He was like, "What happened to Survivor?" I was like, "That's good."
Wait, no, we were watching House of Villains last night.
We were watching House of Villains. That's right.
It's a ridiculous show. It's so funny, but it's so ridiculous. Is Bergie treating you okay?
Yeah.
I got her a matcha.
He got me a matcha. And surprisingly, well, not really surprised. I mean, can you be surprised out here in North Dakota? The matcha was terrible because Starbucks, they changed their matcha powder. And I have a feeling the North Dakota Starbucks is not caught up yet. So when I tasted it actually tasted like filth, dirt. So I was drinking a pile of dirt. So then we went to another coffee shop and he goes, "You're buying this one." So
wow, you're playing your own game of Survivor out there, Taylor. This is
great.
I
mean, she just drank dirt.
And then we went to, an authentic coffee restaurant, and it was no better. It still tasted like dirt. So, lo and behold, don't get your matchas from North Dakota.
Okay, guys, that's an important. As we end this episode, that's very important to just be aware of the matcha in North Dakota. But anyways, that's where we end the game. They drop it off, and then next week we do see that they switched tribes already, and so it's going to be intense. They really didn't show a lot, like mini scenes. It's very whatever.
Why do you think they're switching tribes so early this season?
I think it's constantly to keep the relationships in flux. Is that we don't want to rely too much on relationships. We want to throw as much of the unknown for these players, because I think they are like, okay, we will not switch for like another 3 or 4 episodes. And I think it's just to keep everybody on their feet potentially, or maybe I don't know if they have like a plan A, plan B, plan C, and they were watching things happen and we have to switch it up way earlier than we thought. Like, I don't know how that works production wise.
Yeah. You know what? It's probably a production decision. It's like, maybe we can get Ozzy and Coach on the same tribe and just see how that navigates. That would be like, because yeah, and then how do they pick the tribes when they rescramble them? Do they
I don't know.
decide
I
that?
mean, we'll find out on Wednesday on an all new episode. And I mean, this is I love Survivor so much, and I know you love it as much. So you've got to go. By the way, Bergie, you got to go apply. Don't just say you got to go apply to be on Survivor. And as always, this has been a blast to do with you, and I hope you guys had fun listening or watching. Support the show by giving it a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe and like and all that crap that you're supposed to do. And Bergie is on CAMEO. You can have him say literally anything you want. And Bergie, good luck to you eating dirt and drinking dirt in North Dakota.
Well, thank you. I also want to just give a shout out to all of you guys that went on the chat BCC. We got 300 people to do it, so I got like a check for $650.
Whoa!
So shout out to all of you guys for doing that, because I got a $2 per person, and that helped me like cover rent for the month of March. So I just want to say thank you to all of you that went and did that extra step.
It covered Taylor's first matcha today, not the second one, just the first matcha.
This is the first one.
And also, you guys, there was one other thing. I forgot what it is. We should try to reach out to Survivor players to see if they'll come on. Because Kyle followed me the other day.
Did he?
Yeah.
I was
like,
love
maybe
to
I should
have
reach
Kyle
out to
on.
Kyle. Yeah, he would be amazing
I wonder
to talk
how.
to.
Yeah, it'll be weird to see like how strict Paramount and CBS are, but like I would love to have Kyle come on. Kyle would be awesome.
Yeah, he would be amazing. Okay, you guys, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye.
Bye.